Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Leadership Void podcast. I'm Enrique with my co-host Vince to bring you the best in our veteran, military spouse, and first responder community. And Vince will introduce today's guest.
I will, but cheer amazing was a word I just learned. And I am saying that about this wonderful guest. Haley McClain Hill is the CEO of TORCH Warriorwear, all the way from Long Beach, California. Haley, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, Enrique. Hi, Vince. Thank you so much for having me. Man, I mean, where do we start? It's a long one, guys. I was born in Virginia. My grandmother actually served 20 years in the Air Force, and she was stationed at Langley, and that's why we were in the Virginia area. And my mom worked at NASA, had me at 20 years old, and we just have a really fun, young, and just super motivated group of women in my family. We're all very fun. And when I was growing up, my mom and my parents really instilled education and spending my time doing what I love and my passions. And so that was dance and cheerleading. And I've been a dancer, competitive dancer my entire life. And when college came around, my grandmother was like, Haley, like, you should look into this Air Force ROTC program thing. She's like, get your school paid for. You can go to a regular school. And I was like, okay, Grams, if you can do it, I guess I can do it. And I went, tried out for, applied, and I actually got in. I got a full ride scholarship to Penn State University. I majored in math with a minor in economics. And at the same time, I was a Penn State cheerleader. So I got to do everything I love to do, all my passions, was able to serve my country. And the first place the Air Force sent me was Atlanta, Georgia, to be a recruiter for the diversity in the Air Force officer ranks. It was my sole mission to get out there and meet women and men who have never seen a minority Air Force officer before. And so I got to go out there and speak with thousands and thousands of kids, and that was my favorite job ever. And that was a one-year assignment. And at the same time, little spoiler, I didn't hang up the palms. I went and tried out for the Atlanta Falcons, and I made the Atlanta Falcons cheerleading team. So I was an NFL cheerleader for a year, which was incredible and most amazing experience. And then it doesn't stop there. We moved to California. The Air Force was like, all right, moving to Cali, Northern California, and COVID hit. And I wasn't able to try out for another team. So that was kind of a tough year for me, not being able to do what I love. I know it's tough for everybody, but especially me not being able to join another team. I actually waited a year and then tried out for the 49ers the next year once everything started getting back to normal, and made the 49ers team. So I was a rookie on the 49ers for a year as well, which was, again, incredible, just so different, but so cool in their own ways. And then when my contract was coming up, I really woke up one day and had this epiphany I was like, do I want to stay in the military? I was like, I don't know. And so I started thinking about my options and what I wanted to do. Maybe I go into the cheer world, the sports world. What do I want to do? And one day I woke up and I had the idea for the bodysuit. And I was like, I'm running with this one. I'm like, I know girls are going to love this. And so put it on TikTok, launched the business, and now I'm a full-time entrepreneur and veteran.
Amazing story. Thank you, and thank your family for the long legacy of service. It's and I love the fact that it was your grandma, not your grandpa. It was your grandma who set it in motion. So, and we just finished celebrating women veterans, and so we continue to do that now. And what a great transition from college life into the military. Still get to do what you love, folks. You can still do what you love even in the military. And then you're gonna have to talk about this epiphany here, right? So you tell us about TORCH Warriorwear, and you just said how you got it, but what is it about?
Yes. So Enrique, it's funny because, again, my grandma has really been my biggest cheerleader my entire life, from when I decided to join the military, from active duty to when I was about to get out. And the epiphany actually came from a conversation with her. I was sitting on my couch, and I got home from work, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, these uniforms are going to kill me. I'm like, they're uncomfortable. I look like a dude. I'm like, it's just not great. Like, going from a professional cheer uniform to going to this uniform, I'm like, it's just very different. And I'm like, why can't I'm like, Grandma, like, why can't these be more comfortable? She's like, oh girl, they've been that way since 1979. And I'm like, we need to change something. So we started brainstorming. I was like, what can we start with first? What is something we can tackle first? And I'm a bodysuit and jeans type of girl. So when I'm not in my uniform, I always put a bodysuit on and jeans because it's just easy. You look sharp, you look out of the way. Nothing's like frumping over. And so I was like, why can't I make a bodysuit that's the right color and the right cut to wear in my uniform? No one would know, and it would even look sharper because I don't have to tuck it in all day. And my grandma was like, go for it. And I drove down to LA, found a fabric company, found a manufacturer, and I was like, can y'all do this? And they were like, we sure can. I said, boom, we're making it.
You know, that origin story needs to be in a movie because or a book. I definitely see that coming, Haley. It's right around the corner. And thanks to your grandma, you know, she definitely that brainstorming section talked about being mission ready because you know, if we feel good, we act good and we become better at what we're going to do in the service. So by you having the cross-pollination of cheerleading and it being in uniform, those two uniforms serves purpose of what you have today. So I'll love to hear, and the audience will love to hear about any share any entrepreneurship challenges or lessons learned that you love to share, or anything as far as you giving back in the community.
Of course, yes. So first and foremost is I think when you get out of the military, you get excited about this like new freedom and this lack of, discipline to say the least. And what I had to kind of weave back in order for me to be successful in my business was to weave back in that discipline, that daily schedule, that routine. And I think that really allowed me to build a plan. And sometimes it was difficult for me though. It was a challenge to like structure my days when nobody was telling me what to do. So I'm like, okay, Haley, you need to sit down. So the first thing I did to tackle that problem was hire a business coach. That was the first thing I did. I was like, I know that I'm new in this arena. I've never been an entrepreneur before. I need somebody, just like the military gives you a mentor, gives you, the guidelines to be successful in your job. I need someone to give me those guidelines to be successful in my business. So I found a friend through Penn State, hired her, and she was a dream come true. She broke down from accounting to marketing to what's the plan going to be for your daily operations and how you're going to deal with customers and all this stuff, all of the aspects of a business. And she really laid it all out there for me. So that's the first and foremost. Build that structure for yourself. Number two, I think the second biggest challenge for me and for my brand, because we're like never before seen, there's never been a brand like this in our tactical space, especially for women, that makes them feel like they can dive into their feminine energy. So when people find us, they love us, but the biggest tackling is getting people to find us, right? There's over 3 million women in the military right now, all around the world, in every stage in their career, from cadets to ROTC, then you have active duty, reserve, guard, veterans. How do we reach all of them? And right now, we just had to build a plan. And you can't take everything and try to tackle everyone at once, because if you're trying to tackle everyone at once, you're never going to get, your focus. So my focus was cadets, JROTC, ROTC, military academies, because I know if I get them at that stage, then they'll be with me their entire career. And so I tackled the problem of trying to get everybody by just segmenting it down to that core group of people. And third, I would think, me giving back. It is so important for me to be daily on social media, interacting with my customers, hearing their feedback, hearing their reviews, and really touching base with them in every stage of in and out of their uniform. So if they're getting married, a lot of women in the military, we're getting married, we're having babies, we're doing these different things that men in the military, they have them, but it's a very different experience for women. So when I see them post, not just in their uniform, but I see them post that they just had a baby, it's congratulations. And wow, like what could we do to make you feel more comfortable in your uniform? Maternity, nursing things, like, and developing new products that cater towards the female experience. So I think my favorite part is really just being able to build and give back to women, and because just serving in the military, it's difficult. It's not always that easy. It's a little lonely. You're away from your family, you're traveling, all this stuff. So I'm like, what can I do to give back to you? Because I know I wish I had some products when I was in, but now I'm passing the torch and giving them an opportunity to feel fearless, to feel supported, to feel respected in their stage in their career.
And I love that you targeted a specific point to affect them, right? Affect them all throughout their career.
Yep.
And what a wonderful creation, right? You had to, and everything's, every business starts with a pain point, right? It was yours at first. It was your grandma said it's in 1978, right? It pain point been there. We were just waiting for you to come around to be able to facilitate solving that. And so
Yeah.
tell us what the horizon looks like for Torch Warrior Wear and where you're headed.
Enrique, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We are going to first tackle the different styles that we can do with the bodysuit. I think again, when people start with their product, you don't want to go too deep and too wide with your product line. You want to start with your hero product, right? So we have our bodysuit. It's a short sleeve and a long sleeve, but I'd love to get into like a fire resistant bodysuit. So that would allow pilots, maintainers, firefighters to be able to wear our product as well, because we are here for the modern day woman warrior. So tackling different fabric, fire resistant, thermal, maybe dry fit, that type of thing, to develop the product line. Our hero product, people love it. Let's develop that. Next will be the phase of the actual bodysuit style. So short bottoms, maybe a thong bottom. Some women like to wear thongs. Again, here's the thing. Women do little things to feel more feminine in their uniform, because our uniforms are, to say the least, we're working on it. We're working on it. So we'll get there, we'll develop that. And then down the line, again, I want us to be the go-to one-stop shop for the modern day woman warrior, from accessories to, right when she gets out of her uniform and she's going to practice, she's going to PT. So it's like, we're going to get into athleisure wear. We're going to get into, the, even, I really do think like right before you go to work, like the socks, everything, it just needs to be a whole package experience for women who are going into the military. So that's our focal point, and just developing our product from there. But that's 5-10 years from now. I want to get our core audience. I want to build an audience first, so they know, they love us, and then they just dive into all of our future products.
Well, Haley, I'm going to say it's going to be the next 3 to 5 years. So get ready, because it's coming. You said, you're going to see the moon, because guess what? Mom was at NASA. She showed you that moon first. So now you see it, my lady.
I didn't even think of that. Good job, Vince. Way to tie that in. That was it. I like that.
You're very welcome. And let's talk about diving into your female energy when it talks about leadership. Obviously, you have the vision for your company and the avatar of your customer, which is half the battle and planning ahead and then executing. So you as a professional, what do you do to sharpen your skill set to help you thrive in your professional life?
Vince, I am an avid reader. I read all the time. I go to my gym here in Long Beach and I'm sitting in the sauna and I'm reading books on my phone or on my Kindle. And I'm like always looking at leadership books and from different career fields, right? So I just read a book by Lindsey Vonn. She's a Olympic skier, and her book's called Rise. And it kind of broke down like her mindset to be an Olympian. And then I've read books like Good to Great that kind of talks you through, how to turn a business from good to great, obviously. And then I'm reading like personal development books called, like, I just read this book called Edge by Laura Huang. And she talks about how you can use your adversity to really propel yourself in your career, in your personal life, and everything, and just owning your authenticity. And so I am an avid learner. I love to learn just in general. I surround myself with other entrepreneurs. I'm a part of Bunker Labs, the veteran cohort, business cohort, which is amazing. I'm always tapping into people who I feel like are just at that next stage in business or in life than me. And I'm just trying to vibrate at their frequency and surround myself with that energy, because I'm like, wherever you go and wherever you're at, you can always learn from somebody. So I just take the attitude of learn constantly, and whatever you learn, use those skills, and don't just sit on them, and don't just think, oh, that was a good book. No, actually start implicating them in your business, in your daily life, and taking those to heart and actually putting those out there in action.
Great advice, and great way to structure your business journey, because I tell you what, the more you put in and can apply, the better and easier to be. There's still going to be some challenges, but that's all right. You'll be better prepared for those. And talking about being better prepared, as you were going through ROTC, and then you got, your collegiate career in motion, you go into service. They obviously saw, hey, there's a great person to represent us out there. What advice did you receive that you would like to pass on to an emerging leader now?
Growth starts when you become uncomfortable. That's the best advice I can give you. You have to learn to embrace it. There's no way around it. You have to take the hard path. You have to take the uncomfortable path, do the work, and you will feel yourself slowly like, okay, after practice and practice and practice, like practice, you have to practice, you have to put yourself out there, you have to fail, you have to fail quickly, all those things. I am a huge ball of failures that have allowed me to evolve into a better version of Haley. And don't compare yourself to anybody else. Stop comparing yourself. It's important that you look and you think about what would make future Haley or future me proud. And I think staying focused on yourself and your goals and what makes you happy, because everyone's different, right? Everyone's goals are so different. Mine, I might want to do TED Talks and, talk to the world and travel the world, but you might want to just do something different. So I think stop comparing yourself, go through the challenges, you're going to grow, and embrace the journey.
No, absolutely. They say, comparison is a thief of joy. So, try to stay away from that. And as you said, success is built on a pile of failures. So definitely embrace that growth, then comfort zone. Love hearing that advice for emerging leaders. Now, Haley, what's the most memorable leadership aha moment that you have that you like to share with our audience today?
I want to shift gears to my cheerleading career, actually, because I have been in every kind of stage in cheerleading too. So I started off, an all-star, and then I went to college and I went to pro. And when I moved to California and COVID hit and I wasn't able to cheer professionally, I actually decided to coach a cheerleading team. And that opportunity, okay, let me just tell you, trying to get a group of 26 to 10-year-old girls to do anything is impossible. But what I learned was, the most incredible skills. They came in knowing nothing. This is beginner level 1 cheerleading. So me going from professional cheerleading all the way back to teaching them what a high V is and how to clap the right way. It brought me down to a level where I had to really learn a new skill, which was getting down at somebody else's level and talking to them where they are. And that was just the best, I think, leadership skill that I learned, because I feel like when you're an officer or when you're in the military, you can kind of, be in your own head with things. But if you can come down and just talk to people at where they're at and genuinely get to know them and show up consistently for them and give them your 100%, those girls went from knowing not a damn thing to first place winners. And all I have to say is that was the biggest accomplishment I have ever done in my life. I'm like, I don't care. Yes, I joined the military, all this stuff, but I'm like, seeing their growth and seeing and putting your time and energy into something and seeing them grow and knowing that you have something to do with it. I encourage everybody to get to become a coach one time in their life, and it's going to change your whole perspective.
And Vince and I both coach and train, so we understand where you're coming from. And as you was talking, I said, what a great example of leadership when you can, having your repertoire, right, your resume, to be able to come down and teach at a level where you haven't been in a while, right? And it humbles you. It also right sizes you to say, whoa, wow, look how far I have come from where we are, but look at the impact I'm having here now, going so far. And I've always told leaders, lead where they are, not where you are, and you'll see a lot of change and positivity come about it. Now, talk about a challenge, because you was like, oh, whoa, hold on, there's nothing here, so now I got to build it from scratch. And so there's certain challenges and times of change that come our way, right? You said COVID made you, that change forced you into a challenging environment. So what strategies do you use with yourself when those times of change and challenge come?
I've been diving more into studying successful people. One of my friends that I met more recently, he sends me Kobe Bryant videos all the time. And this Mamba mentality thing, first I was like, again, so sad what happened to Kobe, but like I never like really followed him growing up. But now that like I've done, I feel like when you become a business owner, you really start seeing people who their qualities you want to emulate. And I just think his mentality around like we show up and we win. Like, we show up and we win. And it's like this resiliency and this, and I feel like military women, military especially, we are very resilient, but at the same time, I think that accountability for yourself. Like, you have to take accountability for yourself. Like, if someone's telling you what to do, okay, we'll do it. But once you get out of the military, you have to hold yourself to that standard. So when I am in challenging times, I just remind myself, I'm like, Haley, like, again, what is going to make future Haley proud? And that means you're putting in the time, you're putting in the energy. When you have an opportunity, you're ready for it, because then when you win and then when you're prepared, it propels your confidence to an entirely different level. You don't think you're better than anyone or anything like that, but you know, and you're proud of yourself. And that feeling will help combat future feelings of challenges, because you know you've been there, done that, and you've been able to get there and get the mission done then. So then you can prove to yourself, you're like, this, I can do it because I've been able to get past something like this. So it's just mama mentality, man. You got to dive into it.
Well, it's becoming Haley's mentality. I'm gonna tell you what,
Hey.
everybody hearing this, cheer amazing is how I started and how I'm gonna end this podcast. But you know, folks, this was such a phenomenal individual doing great things, and the future is so bright. She is reaching to the stars and for the stars. But how do people contact you or Torch Warriorwear?
Yes, Vince. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So you guys can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram at I am Haley Marie. And then all of my businesses are tagged in my bio at Torch Warriorwear. And also email me. I am very accessible. You can just really email me at haley@torchwarriorwear.com. And I love giving advice, reaching out to people, giving back. Anything I can do to help propel you and help you, I'd love to help.
Wonderful, folks. We will have all that information as part of the video and show notes for you to be able to get in contact with Haley. And if you want to get in contact with us, theleadershipvoid@gmail.com is where you'll send that correspondence. Vince and I will curate all of those that come in. If you want to see a particular topic covered on leadership or a specific guest, please let us know.
Absolutely. But today is all about Haley. You know what? This could go on, but if you want to know more about her, follow her on her social media, buy some of her great products. You know, it's all about that female energy releasing into the world, and we need more of that. And we are pleased. And we are so grateful for our sponsors. We have Triple Nickel, we have FAVOB and VEI with us. But today, Haley, is all about you and what you're doing in the world. So thank you for everything, and good luck.
Thank you, Enrique. Thank you, Vince. Thank you so much for having me.